Alright, days later we are back, and I have two major problems to solve. One, the video of me taking this apart, which I was going to use to reference, is kind of blurry. You're going to get to see it yourselves, so I apologize. Two, this has a little ball bearing that flew out that I need to resolve where the heck that comes from. Alright, so before we do that, let's go ahead and clean this out. And let's get a little compressed air and blow through this. Oh, don't forget your glasses. You never know what's going to come flying out. Just blowing out some air. Blowing air through things. All these holes. Alright, I gotta clean a couple more parts here. I gotta blow some more air out of some other stuff here. So we have, get those passages all cleared out with some air also. I love it when I can't find my... Alright, there you go. My glasses. Alright, some air through hair. Alright, so that's everything. Okay, we're good to go. This is also important. Let's do it again. I just want to do that one more time. Okay, great. That is the Carburetor Rebuild Kit for this model carburetor. And the number, and if you can see it, it's HIPA carburetor remixer, I guess, remer/blower A03979. Okay, and the number here is X000S48XN5, and lucky for me, it's made in China. Alright, so I want to give you the best possible view. You know what they say in life, make no mistakes. So it looks not blurry. Everything looks fine. Let's go to try. Alright. So this is the parts in the carb kit, right? I have a new needle right here. And we'll place that. We could use the old needle because it was actually in pretty good condition. So that goes there first. I don't know if you saw that. What I'll do, I'll take it out so you can see it again. Okay, that needle, this goes right in that little hole right there. And it drops down. Okay, and then what we have after that is a spring. Now the spring itself, if I pull this into the frame a little bit more. The spring itself sits, try not to compress the spring. Okay. The spring itself sits in that little chamber right there. Like that. Okay. Let's look at the old spring. So we have, so that's the old spring. And you can see the new spring. Watch me get the springs confused. Right? Yeah. So old spring, new spring. New spring's definitely considerably more expanded. So let's just place that here. It's less compressed. Now the seat this comes across and goes into this like that, and then the groove of that will sit on top of there. Now before I do that, let me get myself set up. I need to get a small screw. It's a small Phillips. I think it's 1 second. Trying to, as I figure this out, yeah, I think it's this small Phillips screw here. I'm looking at a computer, if you're wondering what I'm doing. That will sit on top of that, and I need to screw that down. So let me get my screwdriver ready. Okay. And I don't think I have enough dexterity with these gloves on. Alright, here we go. So we have that hook right there will slide under. I feel like I need like tweezers, Jesus. Under the no, it's gonna fight me. Please don't fight me too bad. Okay. Oh my gosh. You ever have the feeling you're gonna lose something? Hopefully, whatever I lose, it's ends up being a part I get that hooked around the needle. Okay, that's not too bad. That wasn't too bad. Okay, now I gotta get the screw itself. Here, just place it in that hole, because that holds the this seat down. Okay. Yep, so that's it. Okay, we're good to go. Alright, so far so good. Alright. Hopefully you saw everything. Let's go ahead and place the diaphragm on the other side. Now this has two keys that help line up. I had a little issue with this before because I didn't understand. I forgot to put the primer bulb on, so having some issues with this screw. So the harder part touches this outer part first. And the keys will help you if you have an issue lining them up. If it doesn't line up, you know why, because these little pins right there, and there's two of them, one's here, they protrude. Let me try to give you a little, zoom in a little bit more. That's better. Nope, getting blurry. Okay, I'll stay right there. That's better. I'll pull that out of the screen. Okay, back again. So what we'll do is take the, there are two pins I was saying, right here and here, and this will line up with those pins. If it doesn't line up, see, that larger curvy part, looks better. Should match that other large curvy part too. Sorry. You see that? Okay. Now this softer large curvy part also goes over here. It's just like this. Those two pins that protruded. Now take this part, flip it upside down, line it up onto there. This pin slid in, okay. Those pins are on. So now they're like this. Alright, let me reposition the camera for a second. We need to place this guard this metal tray. This metal guard here sits on top like that. It holds the primer bulb in place. So go like that, squeeze that down. Oops. Just pushing that in nicely. Alright, so, oops, shit. You didn't hear me say that, did you? Okay, let's try that again. Oh man. Real time, baby. Mistakes happen in real time. No perfect shots or anything like that. Don't lie to you. These are the real struggles that you have to deal with when you're doing stuff. Alright, that's definitely going to give me a fight. Okay, let's try this again. Oh man, I'm so struggling here. No. Come on. I gotta lose the gloves. I don't have the dexterity that I need. Okay. Try to keep my gloves on in general because I don't want to like expose myself to too many chemicals. So just trying to minimize my risk. Working with this stuff in general just means you're gonna expose yourself. Not really any way around it. So. Okay. see what's happening there. Go, 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 get a Phillips. Alright, well. Okay, so that's that. Primer bulb in place. Sounds good. Alright, so here is my big mistake. I need to place, I'm going to bring my, these are done. I'm done with those. This is my big mistake. Let's see if you can see it. So I'm doing this on top of my, my tray here because I messed up royally. When I took this off, that ball bearing right there just flew right out. It's hard to see. It's like metal on metal, but do your best you can. Now it goes in like this. Right? I pulled it out. That thing came flying right out. There was a spring behind it. My issue is I don't have the spring. This is the spring from the it's called the oh gosh, what's the name of that? It's just the meter and lever spring. So again, it's the meter and lever spring, and that's what that is. So I'm going to try to use that spring with that ball bearing in place. Will it work? I don't know. So let's give it a shot, shall we? Okay. So something like that. I need to place that ball bearing in that space right there. But before I put the ball bearing in, I need to see right here, it pushes against that right there. Yeah, it's hard to see, but there's a little tiny groove on this tab. And the reason I'm doing it again on top of this is because these pieces are, if they go flying, I'm screwed. Right? It's the difference between like completing this today or never, or not today. Or getting an entire new card because the small pieces are just not worth it. So I just put that in there and I don't know what happened. I think this wants to go all the way down. Right, so I'm going to take a closer look here. I'm not sure this will work. Again, I'm just trying to hack this with you right now. that spring's lined up. Alright, let's try to get the ball bearing in there on top of this. I do not know if this is a good idea. That went sideways, ball bearing on the other side. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think, right, that I'm gonna, let's see if I put that in there. If I have a theory. Maybe this diagram for this carburetor that I have is not really accurate, because I put the ball bearing in there, right? And it seems to be fine. I think this, because I didn't feel like I lost the spring, you know, that was the thing. So let's just go ahead and continue down the route, placing this in here, right? Watch me be wrong, you know, it's like, oh God. But the truth is, really, there's no... Oh boy, I lost the ball bearing. No, I didn't. The ball bearing went further down. You know, this does need a spring. I can see why it needs a spring. Alright, so I'm gonna have to like pause this process and come back to it a couple days later. Kind of annoying, but it's the nature of these things. I gotta get that spring. There's no way around it. Alright people, thanks, and I'll see you shortly. So I finally got the spring for the carburetor, and oops, let me get that in frame. The carburetor will look like this when it's all put back together. The spring is a friction spring that goes right here in that hole. So it's a spring, then the ball bearing, and then the groove right here kind of locks onto it and holds it in place, so the choke will either, you know, be in one position or another. But before I do this, I want to do something really important. So I definitely can tell you that I purchased the world's most expensive little spring in the world. That's a little redundant, world. And I want to help you out in case you do the same thing I did. The ball bearing here is, I'm going to measure that for us. Okay, so if you're in my situation, you lose your, I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so that's 0.117 inches. That's the outer diameter. So I'm writing it down right now. It's 0.117 inches. Or you can think about it, it's 2.97 millimeters. So it's 2.97 millimeters for that ball bearing. Okay, well, metal ball. I don't think it's a ball bearing. Okay. The next thing I want to measure is the proper spring for this tool. Dear Lord, hope I don't lose this thing. Okay, this spring, its outer diameter is 2.99, 3 millimeters. So let's just say 3 millimeters is the outer diameter. I'm writing it down just like you probably are. And that works out to be around 118 inches. That's the outer diameter of the spring, so I'll bring that in so you can see. That's the inches, and that would be the millimeters. So it's like 3 millimeters. Okay. All right. The number of springs. Okay, the number of springs we have here is. That's what we get. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4 circles here. This is a flat top spring also. I'm gonna make sure all these pieces that are like sticking to my tool don't disappear. Okay. Overall, the height of this is important to get also. So zero that out. Let's get the height of the spring. Okay, so the height of the spring is 5.05 millimeters. And that works out to be 0.199 inches. Okay, so we have 5 millimeters. Or 0.199 inches for the height. Spring. So the height of the spring. And then again we have 1, 2, 3, 1. It's hard to see, so to turn the light off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 circles. 5 rings, sorry, on the spring. Got it? So in case you lose it, you don't need to actually wait. You can actually go buy these products separately, and then you can just go ahead and continue to build or reconstruct. But they are game stoppers when you do lose them. Moving on. Let's try to put this back together. This is the last part of the carburetor. It needs to go in, and hopefully it'll be a problem-free process. I'm doing this over the magnetic tray because you know, I don't want to lose this. So the first thing, I'm going to put this spring in. It's a fighter. Make sure that's in there. Yep, spring is in. Okay. Let's get the ball. I'm sorry, the little ball. There. Okay, that's sitting nicely. Okay, this choke. Push that down. All right. Okay, there you go. So, okay, we have ourselves a winner. Now we need to place the little butterfly in position. Let's get that. So, butterfly. Where's my butterfly? I love it. I did have it. And now I don't. These things do happen. Okay, 1 second. I gotta look for my original butterfly off camera. Let's see what we get. So I got my butterfly back. This. Okay. So there's a shape right here. Kind of lets you know that it's going to follow that orientation. It's kind of keyed out for you. You can see it right there. Yeah. Love that. I'm actually doing a really bad shot. 1 second here. I'll give you make sure that's tilted up enough. All right. I hope you saw the other things we did. Okay, so the butterfly has it's keyed right here. You can see the shape, and what you're gonna do is take this, just slide it in like that. See how that closes? Opens, closes like that. Great. And that's it. We're done the carburetor. We just need to like probably tweak a little bit of the settings with the idle screw. See what that does. And then before we do that, we should probably let's grease these a little bit. Grease. Actually, that'll be better in here. So, grease in the top part of that. Yeah. Okay. That's good. We are good to go. I'm going to put the piston back in, and I got a new gasket for it. I want to show you the product information for it. A little hard to see. Is that possible? Okay, well anyway, it is part number 9009530001. Okay, and that's the gasket for, I think that might work. Come on, camera. I'm gonna definitely put it, make it available for you so you can see. It's hard to figure out how to get these things to focus properly. I got you. I know what to do. There you go. Alright. Okay, there you go. That's it. So it's a 9009 9530001. That's the gasket for the for our little friend back here. All right, and put it on. Okay, so the piston itself, before I put it in, I'm gonna have to lubricate some things, and the bearings back here, throw a little bit of 3-in-1. Into that little space. And I'll put some 3-in-1 on the shaft. Okay, so get that flowing real nicely. Okay, the piston itself, what we're going to do with that is, I have a feeling this is zoomed in way too much. Let's back it off a little. Yeah, that should be better. Maybe even that. Or that. Alright. Alright, so this piston, remember in the video we talked about the orientation. I want to get the letters 3A, that's here at the bottom, and the longer numbers at the top. Looks like a date. It's like 2-14-00. That's what's at the top right here. So then slide that onto the shaft. Okay. Now with that in place, we want to take our gasket. Now there's 2 holes at the bottom, 1 at the top, so you don't really have to worry about how to get the valve cover on. Doesn't really have much of a I'm sorry, the piston cylinder head 1. Or chamber, piston chamber, cylinder chamber. Now this has rings on here. Now before we do that, we actually want to lubricate inside of the cylinder head chamber. And to do that, I'm going to use some Marvel Mystery Oil. And so take a little bit of that and rub it around inside of there. Yep, inside. Okay. So that just lubricates it. Since I cleaned it, and there's no lubricant in it currently. All right. Now there's a tool that you use to squeeze the rings down to help slide them in. I don't have it. I don't need it because this doesn't have a lot of tension on it. But if I were going to do it again with a piston ring that was like pretty hard fighter, then I would definitely need it. But at this moment I do not need it. Okay. So I get that down. Those are aligned. Okay. Now there are 3 screws that look like that, if you remember. I'm going to put those back in. You can see what's happening. And these are T25s, so it's good to always hand tighten it first. This way, this keeps things from ever stripping. And I'm not going to go all the way down because these do have a torque value on them, so we're going to have to torque these to spec. So we can get them started. Okay, there's one more. Again, don't tighten these all the way down. You want to go in an order because you don't want to damage the cylinder head. I didn't show you this, but I did clean the outside to the best of my ability off camera, just to get as much of the grime as possible off. If I was really trying to do a little bit of a better job, I would have probably taken all this apart and put everything in ultrasonic cleaner, but we did a good job. Alright, so that's that. We have a gasket that goes right here, and then we put the exhaust on. But let's get the torque values for that and torque that down properly. Looks like I jumped ahead a little bit. We want to make sure that we put some Loctite, red Loctite on this. And it recommends red Loctite 262. I only have 242, so we're gonna have to work with what we have here. The reason why these parts they vibrate a lot, and during the vibration, it causes it to like shake free. You're just trying to minimize that from happening. You know, you're losing bolts, parts falling apart. It goes over really well with the client. And the torque spec for these are somewhere between 55 to 65. 55 to 65 inches per pound, or 6.2 to 7.3 Newton meters. So let us put some Loctite on there. Again, this should be Loctite 262. I don't have 262, so I'm using 242. So that's what we got. So that's what we're using. Let that screw out. So that's in. We're going to go ahead and torque this down. So I'm not going to go all the way before it collects, just going to go in a nice soft pattern. We get progressively like a little bit more, just a little bit more, just a little bit more. Okay. Do like a quarter turn on each one of these fasteners. That's it. So that's torqued down, and I'm using 60 feet per inches. That's right in between their suggestion. This has some carbon buildup along the sides right here by the exhaust, and I cannot really clean it without causing still to fall back in. Should have done it when this was off. So what I did, I turned the flywheel until the cylinder, can you see it? Take a look what's happening here. So the cylinder will go all the way up like that, get it to top dead center or somewhere up top, and then just leave it right there. So that way what I'll do is I'll take my screwdriver, Gotta wear your Hanes or Hanes knockoff. And I'm just gonna like scrape it, clean it off. Get as much of the stuff that it was so bad that I thought it was plastic. And I don't know if that got recorded, but I actually thought this was like black plastic. That's how bad it was burnt on. So, go like that. So that's what I'm going to do. You can imagine me doing it, or you can really watch me do it. Scrape, clean, 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 scrape. What I'll do after this, I'll blow some air, compressed air at it, and just get that extra stuff out of there, because I don't want it to fall back into the cylinder chamber, because that will be a fast track way to kill the actual motor itself. You know. So, again, don't do this one, it's already put together. Do it before. This is a mistake, and you're learning from my mistakes. Okay. Looking good, looking great. You know, in hindsight, when I think about this, I really should have gone that extra mile and pulled this whole thing apart and dipped the whole thing in the ultrasonic cleaner. Or maybe I'll do it for the next project. That'll be fun. Each time I get a little bit more awareness of how these things are like put together. I wanted to share a fact with you about the actual engine construction itself. There's a gentleman, his name is Dr. E. I wrote it down for you. His name is Dr. E. Schneuri. That's S-C-H-N-E-U-R-I-E. So apparently he's the one that created this type of like two-stroke engine. And he initially did it for a diesel carburetor engine. So that's pretty cool, huh? Right? Yeah. So that's what happened. Alright, we are looking good. I like it. The exhaust has a little wireframe, a little filter. This was also cleaned in the ultrasonic cleaner, and then it has this on top of it. It's important that this is clean. If it's not clean, it might lose power, it might not stay running. All those are symptoms of it not being clean enough. We have 3 little screws that look like that. They're T25s also. Any Captain Marvel fans? Is that the name of that female character equivalent to Superman? Captain Marvel, I think. Yeah. Anybody gonna go see that movie? I'm thinking I'm gonna go see it. I'm not really sure, but I think I should. Looks entertaining. It's got a lot of like a lot of political things happening around that. People are getting upset that the principal She said there's a lot of white nails around her or something like that. I think that bothered a lot of fans. Internet's going crazy about that right now. I don't even know if I'm really gonna see it. It's like rated on IMDb like 6 point something. It's pretty low. You know? All right, so that's done. Moving on. So some of you remember this gasket. This sits on the exhaust side. And it is, I was not able to salvage it. Right? This exhaust gasket is difficult to find. There's no way around it. And I had a hunch, right, that I think I can get this, use this gasket. It's similar, but not the same, right? But they're all from Homelites. And they're all around the same generation, so I thought to myself, like, you know what are the chances that they actually changed things drastically enough that I couldn't use the same gaskets? So from another model, right, but similar. So this one, automatically, you can see it's already smaller than the other one, but look, it fits perfectly, right? And the only difference is that it doesn't have that hole, those holes right there. Now, is that important? Absolutely not. That just sits right there to help hold the gasket in place. It's not going anywhere, so we're good to go. All right, so lucky us. I'm going to put that like that, and we need to take the exhaust. Place. We have this, which we never ever got a gasket for. Like this. Let me see. All right. I'm a little confused. Let me think about this. Alright, so what did we do? Something like that. Once I gotta think about this off camera. I didn't show you a part number for this, but it'll be in the actual first 30 seconds of this video. It'll also be in the description. Anyway, so we got that there. This goes, these two go in here, I know that. Like that. Right, okay. So this little lip here, can you see it? That has to go around that. And again, got the holes lined up. You always want to start things off by hand tightening. I can't stress this enough. It's a surefire way to protect yourself from like doing anything crazy like stripping these things out. Yeah. Actually, these has a they have a torque value on them. Let me get that for us. Okay, the torque value on these is 50 to 60 inches per pound, or 5.6 to 6.8 Newton meters. No Loctite on these, so we're good to go. So I'm going to put this. This was actually on 60 already because we had it from the previous thing that we tightened down. Now, in general, like the longer the tool from the actual torque wrench, this becomes erroneous. It's no longer really transferring 60 feet per pound. You actually want to get the smaller ones for these types of things if you want to do them properly. So you know, let's do it properly because it doesn't hurt. Okay. Here we have the shorter T25, and that's going to give us a much more accurate setting. Again, this is these are 60. I'm going to go 60 inches per pound. Okay, good. Now we have the other part where we connect this to the carburetor. Alright, so this is going to be the intake. This gasket, remember, I never replaced it, so we're going to use the old one. Should be fine. Looks good. If anything fails with it later on, I definitely have no issues with it. This is something that I will be able to place to actually make a gasket myself. Anyway, look, it's got some keys right there. Go like that, slide it down. It uses 2 of those longer bolts with washers. And there are T25s also. The torque spec for these is 35 to 45 inches per pound, and that is 4 to 5.1 Newton meters. So that's the specs we're going to use. I'm going to do these at 45, and oh gosh, I messed up. I do need some Loctite on these. I forgot about that. So they recommend Loctite 262. I only have 242. So I'm going to use the 242 on these instead. Let's try that again. Now this gasket is actually a lot easier to find online. Well, the truth is they both are, because like I said to you, you can use any of the gaskets for any of the Homelite trimmers. Seem to all fit the exhaust side gaskets. Those. So you should be fine, no problems, unless you don't want it. Unless you want to make it yourself. Okay, that's that. Okay, let's double check this side. Okay, great. I want to clean these off a little bit of compressed air. They contain the air filter. I purchased some fuel line and fuel filter from these gentlemen. It was pretty cool. They know what they're doing, and they have a lot of like parts, a lot of used stuff too. So if you like lose weird stuff like a really expensive spring, they'll have it for you. Okay, so check them out if you're around. All right, so we are going to grab ourselves the filter and put the filter on. Let's do that. Okay, so this filter part, let me give you the part number for it. I don't know if you can see it. Okay. That's part number 100-859. Okay. And, I'm sorry, it's a Homelite 98760. Back out a little bit more so you can see it. Okay, Homelite 98760 stands 100-859. All right. And this filter will sit inside of this. This is the kill switch. We're going to connect that to the magneto, and this is the outside cover. So let us have at it, shall we? Oh yeah, that's it. Really open that one. Okay. Keep that there for now. Alright, let's put this back. Alright. So the carburetor just slides onto those two posts right there, and let's get that lined up. Alright, okay, with that set, I'm going to take this back plate. Okay. Yep, like that. See, so that can slide in. Okay, good. There are two nuts that goes on top of that. I remember them being a little weird to get on and off. So let's see what we can do. Yeah, they're gonna be hard. I can feel it. I can feel it, I can feel it, I can feel it. It's just, you just know when something's gonna be difficult, you know? One of those things. Right. Let's pull that back out. That's the right size. Okay, so that's done. That is going to be a hard one because this socket does not reach down into there easily. I think I forced it when I did it. Just like, you know, whenever you like put these back and you're unsure, just look for the dirty mark on this side. Once it's going to be cleaner than the other. The cleaner side is going to be the side that was not touching the material, the maiden surface on that part that it was pushing against. So that's how I kind of know. Let's see if I can just dip that into there. And I hope I get the order right because I have to put the fuel lines back on. I don't know if that's going to be a problem or not. But Might have to take this all off again, you know? Who knows? Whatever. That's not working. That's good. Alright. Okay. Yeah, that's a little better. That is so much better. Alright, so there you go. We got that started. Let's see if we can finish that off. I didn't go too crazy because this is on plastic, so just be careful. These bolts are going to get 30 inches per pound of torque. I'm a little wary of this because it is plastic, but let's see. Yeah, I'm going to follow my gut. Just tighten it down, hand tight. I mean, tighten as much as you feel comfortable. Last time I did this with some other torque, I over-torqued it and cracked the plastic, so I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to put the air filter in. It goes right here. You can see that little box, just like that. And this is the outer guard. This just has two clips, so the bottom one will go in first, and then you clip it into the top, like that. Push that down. Okay, so that sits in there. Now we have to take the kill switch here and connect it to the magneto. I'm sorry, that makes me laugh every time. I keep thinking like X-Men or something. Anyway, I could say an ignition coil, but magneto I'll call it. So that's there, that grounds out to that. Now what we want to do is go ahead and get the fuel set up, fuel lines. To do that first we're going to have to get the lines set up, pull them through, get that filter in place, and this is the filter, the fuel lines. Now there's a trick to this. What you want to do first is, instead of cutting the line and trying to feed it through, you'll notice that how it has a little bit of a slight angle of a cut, right? You want to do something like this. Push this through. I'm going to have to tie some thread around this just to help myself pull this through, so give me a second. Thought I'll turn on the camera so you can see what I'm doing. So I took my knife, right? Took the end of this, and I made a super steep angle like that. I cut it like that, a really sharp angle, and then fed it through. Got like that much in, and then just been working it slowly. I just put a little bit of like silicone spray on it, silicone lubricant. Just keep hitting it like that. And then I use this to help with some coefficient of friction, increasing that, so that way I can push it down some more. I'm starting to see it inside of the chamber. so once I have it in there, if you have one of these longer pliers, you may be able to grab it. Yeah, no, it's not going to grab. Alright. So I'm going to keep on working this, but you get the idea. Just keep on turning, push, turn, push. And then eventually you'll be able to grab it with some long pliers and then pull through. Alright? I don't want to leave you out of the action, so I got it in far enough and I can see it. Go inside. Let's just pull it. You see it just slides right in. So that's perfect, right? Because what's going to happen is I'm going to place the fuel filter on this right here. So fuel filter is going to go into there. Pull it back. So I'm going to spray it some more so I can yank it through a little easier. So more room to play with. Yeah, okay. So if I don't stretch it out too much, I ruin the diameter of it. Okay, whatever. Live and learn. Okay, so I got to get this onto the end of the fuel filter. So to do that, I'm going to cut this quite flat, like that. Now the fuel filter. Slide that on. You can almost feel a fight when it's coming. Yeah, it's gonna fight me because it's a little stretched thin because I yanked on it. So. I know what you can do. You can definitely put this in some hot water, soften it up so I can get it a little bit more flexible. Or I can use my heat gun. Go ahead and do that instead. I think we should be able to put a little bit of heat on it. Just a little soft. Okay. So that's pretty good. That worked really well. Let's get yourself a little bit of heat. Slide it on really well and you're good to go. Alright, so I'm happy with that. Alright, so what we want to do is this needs to sit in the middle of this. So you need to pull it back to the middle. Just enough that it can catch some fuel. Yep. So that's going to be easy. Let's go ahead and coat this line a bit. keep watching it because I just want it to go too far. Just want it to sit at the bottom, in the middle, right there in the middle. Alright, cool. That was a bit of a production, but you get the idea. That's it. Now at this point we need to figure out how much of this wonderful fuel line we need to keep. So I know that this is going to go like this. It's going to attach to one of these two nipples right here on the carburetor. So you know, at most I need is that much right there. But I need to cut a little extra because you know, you never know. You don't want to cut once, measure twice, they say, right? So I'm going to cut right here because I get to put another return line into the alright, so just go and get that as straight as we possibly can. Basically, I don't want to have to fight with this again. Alright, so we're going to do that. I'm going to show you now from the top what I had to do to get this other line in. So the other line is going to be just a little bit of a challenge to return. Alright, so got my blade really extended. I'm going to straighten that out a bit. And the more of an angle I can get, the easier it is to feed it into the actual fuel tank itself. That's good. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to go from here. This is the return. So you know what? I probably should mark this. Let's just go. An R for with an arrow for return. And I'm just gonna get some silicone spray again, just to try to help make my life a little easier. And I'm not a big fan of chemicals touching my hands, so I'm gonna put my gloves back on. Slide that through. There you go. That's it. And all you're going to do is just, you know, do what I did for a couple minutes. Just work it. When it gets a little hard, spray it, then work it. Spray it, work it some more. And it'll go all the way in. Cool. Alright, there you go. And that's what you want to do. You can get a return line all the way in so it sits at the bottom like that also. Okay? So I got the return line fed through. Let me see if you can see it. Yeah, see it? Filter on one side, return on the other side. So what I do right here, I'm just going to grab the return line and for the most part, just pull it to where I see in the middle, just like I have the filter. I hope you can see me. So. That looks about right. Let's hit it with a little bit of silicone here. pull a little bit more. Just want to get it just a little bit more in. Looks good to me. Alright, great. So there you go. That's return lines in place. At this point, if you didn't really mark things too well, you're going to be a little confused as to where does the fuel filter line go and where does the other line go. Now, the return, that is. So that's easy to solve. So we go like this. We know that this is the return. Mark it here for you so you can see it with the green. Green line's the return. Super easy to figure out. Can't miss it. And with, it's probably better to do this with your gloves off, but anyway. So take the primer bulb, right? Push on it so you get you a better angle. Take the primer bulb and you push on it. You can hear it forcing air out. So you want to put your finger, oh, there I go. See, it can't push the air out. So that top one's going to be, not going to be the one you put the fuel in. That's going to be the return. That bottom one sucks it. You hear it changed? You hear that? It can't do anything. Now it pushes out. And then that stops it. Airflow from that sucks in, so that's going to be the main. That's going to be the main fuel in, and that's where the fuel filter line is going to go. Okay, so out. If it pushes out like that, that's going to be the return. All right, and with that being said, let's see if we can get this together. I'm gonna back off a little bit. Put the fuel tank on. See how well that goes. Try to stay in frame. That's life goals right there. Oh, that's nice. Okay. So what we have is, oh, I said so. Playing a drinking game still. Okay. So I'm going to mark up here also, just so I know. Right, so we know that that's the return, right? Yep. So just put a line right there. That means green means return. Okay. Now this has some funky. Let's get this all lined up. So. Okay. So we need that much for return. Okay, so return's going to be that long. So we now know that we're going to cut that much for return. So that's going to be return. So that'll be the return. And then we have, okay, just like that. Okay, we have a lot of extra. That's good. That's what we wanted. All right, let's do this. So we have some rubber bushings here that kind of sit like that. Do you remember these? I don't know if you remember them. Okay. Then we had one that was kind of beaten up. And that one was, I'll put that one here by itself, like that. Okay, so we set the fuel tank in those little hole and bushings there. And then I take this. Now the gasket from the back, I really do think I should have, I wish I had purchased a new one, but anyway, I don't. This flat part at the top goes like this at the top. It's really important that you have very, very little airflow coming out of this engine here, because you are going to tamper with the compression, and compression is a key part of like how efficient the engine will burn fuel air mixture. So come up, go down, and up, and up. Like, there we go. So everything's seated. I have 4 screws I'm gonna need here. So that's these. It's a little shorter ones. So exciting to be so close to be finished, you know. We've worked so hard on this thing to get it just to where it is. Can't wait to see it fire up. Still got that throttle cable shenanigan stuff. Silly me. Well, anyway. Right, let's see what the torque values are for that. Yeah, no, I'm so off. Let's see. Okay, it seems like the fuel tank has Wow. Okay, got it. That is going to be 35 to 45 inch per pounds, or 4.0 to 5.1 Newton meters. So let us go ahead and grab our torque wrench. I'm going to set that to, I'm going to go for 40. 40 feels safe. Okay, great. Now, I don't want to go all the way down at first. Just want to get started a little bit. And go in a crisscross pattern. In general, you want to always do that for everything. You do that. That's really important for when you're doing like a cylinder heads. You're tightening those bolts. Done. that's done also. So is that. Right, great. So that's back on. Let's go ahead and connect the green to green. So return into return. Probably can cut a little bit off of it. Yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. We'll just cut a little bit off. A little bit more. Okay, so that's the return. All right, we have ourselves, need to get fuel in. Alright. Now you can take a little bit more off of these. Slide it on. There you go. Okay. So that's good. I like what I see. Everybody's happy. Yep, I hear it in the fuel tank. We are looking good, ladies and gentlemen. Looking good. Alright, I'm going to show you a way to test your spark plug for continuity before we install it, just to make sure everything's good. So I have it on 20k ohms, and I'm going to touch I'm going to ground to this metal part here, and then the metal part here, not this top part, but this part here I'm going to touch. I want to try to get, if I see close to like 0 ohms, zero resistance, that's really good. Okay, so we have a really nice functional spark plug. Okay, again, take a look. That's how you know you have a good spark plug. You do the same test again once the motor ran, and see if once the spark plug got hotter, do the same test again and see what you get. And if you get the same values, then your spark plug's pretty good. Obviously, you can see it spark also. Here we go. So what we have is, I'm going to put the, let's try to check it for compression. Like I said, I wish I had replaced this gasket. Maybe I'll do it in the future, but whatever. Alright, I'm going to put my finger on top and see how much suction I get. I'm turning the flywheel clockwise. And it pushes my hand up, so that's good. Pulls and sucks. I can feel it going through the motion of sucking and pulling. So, wow, that's pretty good. Alright, we have a good bit of like compression on this engine. We'll take the spark plug now and Place that in the chamber. Probably need to tighten that up a little. We might want to do a test and see if this thing will actually run. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's do a test. Let's see if I can get it right this time. We'll drop a little fuel in there, turn it on real quick, fire it up, and see if it'll actually do anything. What do you think? Think I can get it to work? I have to have enough finesse to start this and pull off. I think I might be able to do it this time. Alright, let's try. Alright, so I got some 50-to-1, that's what this uses. And I'm going to drop a little bit in there. Just a little. Here. Got our spark plug, which is right over here. Wipe off this stuff. I didn't bother to check spark because, we had spark the last time. So nothing has changed. I didn't mess with the magneto or anything like that. So. There you go, safety glasses on. Let's see if I can just get it on there just fast enough to pull it off. Alright, ready? Can't get it fast enough, but it is, I can smell it. Alright, well, it's worth a try. One more time. Let's see how you do this. No. Alright, it's the art of turning and pulling it off. Well, it's fun trying. Give up. I think I'm gonna, so this shaft right here is what spins, and it has a little boxy tapered side here. It slides all the way down inside of the curved shaft. I'm thinking I should probably throw a little bit of oil in there, and I'm definitely going to grease it. Feels like a candidate for some grease. Just a little bit of grease, not too much. So what do we have? Would be better. Rub it on the ends here. Maybe on the whole shaft. What do you think? Yeah. So that's that. And then, Gonna have to. This is just marine grease, by the way. If you wanted to know what it is, it's marine grease. Goes all the way down to there. All right. Okay. I need to get this engine here. I'm gonna have to pull this handle apart because, you know, I broke that. You know what I'm talking about. Throttle cable. All right, some struggling's gonna happen. I've never pulled this apart yet, so. Let's see what we got. This is also T25. Now I'm trying to get this new throttle cable there. So I'm not sure if it's the exact same size, but the gentleman who sold it to me believes it is. So let's just see what happens. Alright, so we have four kind of, they're coarse threaded, so you can see. They're kind of coarse threaded. Kind of long and coarse threaded. So we have 4 of those. And that should just lift right off. Yep, okay, perfect. Great. So that just goes to there. Looks good to me. Should be able to pull this out. Oops, keep that there. Hopefully no springs go flying anywhere. You know me and springs. Everything's easier on paper. All right. Just slide that under. Okay, that pulls. Yes, it does. Okay. Okay. That might not be enough. Stick it back there. We're gonna have to see what we get. Again, I'm screwing into plastic, so, you know, no craziness with the torque. So, end up cracking the plastic. You don't want to do that. Throttle cable back. Now my concern is this throttle cable doesn't seem to be too reboundy. We'll see what happens. Alright, you know what they say in life, right? Make new mistakes. So let's see what we got. Okay, so this we know has to go through here and back there. And there's going to be alright, I gotta think about this for a second. I think this is a good angle to help you see what's happening. I have to seat this into there, and that's in already, the shaft. And getting it to line up can be a little tricky, just a little bit. I pull the pull start sometimes just to get it lined up. So the flywheel needs to sit inside of the I think I got it. Or not. You definitely know when you get it. It just goes right in there. No fighting. Sits nice and flush. Come on. I know you want to get in there. Don't you? What do you think? Got to tell the pull start to line up a little bit with the flywheel, but it does not want to cooperate. Come on. Sure, there's a system for this that I don't know about. That's pretty close, but no scholarship, as they say. Rats. Alright, you get the idea, right? So I'm going to struggle with this a little bit off camera. We've got the back part on. Now we're going to try to get these screws in. My challenge is probably going to be, put a little light on for you. Right here, because I did replace the throttle cable. getting that properly through. So to do that first, I'm just going to screw in these. There's 3, so you can see it. There's 3 of those, like that. They're not too long. Kind of like, let's say like, not the coarsest of threads. The 2 coarsest thread ones are going to go in the back. All right. Okay, so right here, this goes through right into the actual engine itself. That's one. There's another one right at the bottom. So we have 3 of these all day. All right, great. Now this is going to be way more stable to work with. This throttle cable, I'm going to give you a better shot so you can see what's happening. This might not be the best angle. You know, sometimes my shoulder's going to come in, but I can feel that it's going to block you sometimes. I'll try my best. All right, we are going to get this, screw that into there, but this entire L shape right here has to go into this top hole. Right. Doesn't have to, but that's where it was originally, so we'll try to put it back. Okay, just like that. Okay, and then this goes like this. All right, let's give it a try, shall we? Okay. What I'm not going to do, or at least, shall I say, I'm going to try not to do, is make the same mistake I did the last time. I got this throttle cable here. Is missing some elasticity. That's awesome. Great. Okay, so what do we have that's not working? Okay, it's definitely elastic, but in the wrong way. Alright, we're gonna have to play around with this for a little bit. I want to show you something. So here's my situation. This has a protruding piece of plastic that slides into here. And that is where the trigger pivots, like that. As you can tell, it's broken. Yep, as in it's broken off. So, what I thought I'd do, just to keep us moving forwards, is to take this screw, because it fits neatly into this slot here. I'm going to drill out a little bit of space right there for that, and then I'm going to cut this off so it sits inside of there. And then we're going to place that like that in there. So that should pivot on that. Alright, so let's go ahead and give it a try, see what happens. You know, it's whatever. Alright, great. I'm going to clamp this down, and I'm going to have to place some shimmies under here to keep it leveled. So what I'm going to do is take this. Yeah, that should work like that. Back it off as much as possible so I can not impede my view. And then this, probably will want to shimmy this a little just to keep it flat and rigid. Okay. The drill bit size I'm going to use, the diameter, is 5/32, and that's 5/32. So I'm just going to go down a little bit in there. All right. That's definitely in. I might have went too far, brother. Yeah, I think I probably did. Can't win in this. Okay. So that's definitely sticking out the bottom of that. Exactly what I didn't want to have happen. Okay. So that's not gonna work. I'm gonna try to glue this into there then. I can do that. Problem is I don't have any glue. So anyway, that failed. The idea was a good idea, I thought. Well, maybe not, actually. We can, so you can put that in and just... Yeah, it came through, because it came through. What we have is... It's possible I can pack this hole a little bit and maybe actually screw that in. I don't know, let me think about this for a second. I got the screw placed in my cheney, and got these two pieces of wood just to trying to save the thread. I don't know if I'll need the thread, probably won't. But anyway, just trying to preserve the thread. I'm going to cut off the top. I want to see if it'll actually work, so I'm just continuing down this path. See what kind of solution I can come up with. So this might have worked. Let's see what we got. That goes into there, like that. Right, and this closes up on top of it like this. Cool. See that? So that should be enough for it to pivot. What I can do is, see, that's what it came through. That's what I was trying to avoid, but anyway. That's my reality. Yeah, I think that should work. Let's keep on moving. So I really wasn't happy with the screw that I had cut off at first. It was a little too loose for me. I wanted a little more of a better solution. So what I did, see, this doesn't close all the way. I got a little bit of a wider screw, wider diameter, and the hole is still the same. I didn't drill out the plastic anymore. What I'm going to do now is just take this, and I'm actually going to just screw it down a little, you know. Yeah, just like that. So let's see how well I can do that. Hopefully it won't take you off camera. Just want to get down enough that this can sit flush. Let's see. It's a little off. Okay, so I need to screw this down a little bit more. The top up here is a little wide. Alright, so you get the idea. What I'll do, I'll just continue down this path. Let's see what we end up with. Don't go too much. Just want to go as much as I need to. Alright. Just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Backside looks good. Front's a little loose. Here. Come on. Don't break on me now. Alright. Just a little bit more. We can do this. We can do this. Come on. Things just got serious, I guess. Alrighty. So I'm not really going to push my luck anymore. I'm kind of happy with this. I'll leave it at that. See if we can proceed where we are. Cool? Yeah? Alright. Good. Alright, so I took a little deeper look at this. Or deeper, closer, whatever you want to call it. So I think right here, right, this needs to jam against that little groove right there. You can see it. If that wire's not jammed against it, then I won't be able to get the tension it needs to pull back. It's the anchor itself so it doesn't slide. So when you place this in, you got to get that in there like that. If it's not in there, see, if it comes out, it's not gonna give enough tension, so that way it keeps the cable spring out like that, so that when it pull on it, it'll pull the wire inside. So that's what I figured out. So I'm going to go ahead and try to like squeeze it together and see what we get. Alrighty. So let's slide that in like that. Get that to stay. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. Okay. I think that might be it. Alright, this is sensitive stuff, people. So I got it clamped down. What had happened was that piece of the outer plastic that holds the cable needs to remain bumped up. It slid out of place. And now, put it back and it is totally there. So I'm holding this for dear life. Alright. See if we can get this screwed down before anything happens. Okay. What do you think? You think we did it? This thing has been a pain in my butt, just to say the least. But you know, that's what happens when you fix things. You break things, you learn things. You also understand how one manufacturer, their engineering process differs from another. You know, and you end up figuring out how they think, and you start thinking like they do. So then you can anticipate their engineering problems or things that seem very successful. Right? Yeah, that's it. We did it. Oh, this is wonderful. All right, you need to come around and see this. I need you to come and see it. You're going to love it. Hope you're ready. All right, take a look right here. I made sure I turned the light for you. Trigger being pulled. Bam! Ladies and gentlemen, we have succeeded. All right, so I'm going to tighten this down a little bit more. Make sure that that doesn't do anything funny. Okay, cool. That's not going anywhere. Trigger is awesome in place. And we are good to go. All right, so there you have it. I'm going to put the back part on. I'm going to fire it up, see what happens. I decided before I fire it up, put the back on, I want you to see what happens when you pull the rewind. See right here, this turns. I need to just test that. Oh, we're good. So that spins. I can hear the motor turn over. And we should just put the back on now. And then it's just 2 screws. Get out of your way so you can see what's happening. Yeah, it's been a while since I pulled this thing off. I don't remember. Yeah, that looks good. All right, there you go. So 2 screws up top. And can you guess what they are? That's right, T25. Maybe that should be the drinking game you play while I make this. Every time I say T25, you take a shot, right? Okay. I hope those are the right screws. I feel a little big. I don't know, it doesn't feel right. Oh, that's good. That is right. All right. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. I've rebuilt this. I don't even know if you saw me do any of that. Okay, great. All right, now you're going to watch me try to start a trimmer for the first time in my life. All right, so I got fuel in there. Hit it like 10 times, it said. The primer bulb is working really good. There's fuel coming in. Alright, so set the choke to 1. That's on 1. Pull this. Pull. Go to 2. Just the idle. That was amazing. All right. So anyway, I want to show you something about the bulb. You see. So it's full of fuel right there. All right, so we did a good job. All right, let's go ahead and made a screwdriver so we can adjust the actual idle speed. cool. I think that's as best as I can do. Now I gotta go find some grass to cut. It's like a grass desert out here. It's been lots of fun exploring the prairies of America. And here we are in this large, expensive prairie. Okay, maybe not. Alright, so anyway, listen. Let's see if I can get a good video of this trimmer trimming something, right? Yeah? What do you think? Something I'm going to try to weed whack right over here. Well, let's see how that goes. Works well. Wow, that was lots of fun. It was such a cool little project. Again, kind of on the low end side of like trimmers, this Homelite, but you know what? It was cool. It was a lot to learn. Let's talk about how this thing decayed, right? Because it's like when you redo these things, I think that this would be more of a rusteration than a restoration. When you do these restorations, you kind of like you're like a I would say you're doing some forensic work. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. And what I mean by that is the actual trimmer itself was in a terrible state of decay, you know? So, let's see, the primer bulb was cracked. I did that when I went to look at it. I pressed it. I was like, oh my god, this thing just cracked on me. Sorry, owner. And then the magneto was also failed. That had no sparks. So I would say this is how it decayed, right? Because it had multiple problems. And it's like when you look at something and it comes in with so many problems, you're like, it's obvious there's a chain reaction of things that happened before the owner was like, forget it. All right, so the magneto failed, so they had no spark. So the person probably was using it and they realized I can't get it to start anymore, and they were like, forget it. You know what I mean? Magneto failed. Second thing that happened, right, was I think the fuel lines started to crack, and the person was like, forget it. The fuel lines are now cracked. I'm not going to do anything else, you know? I'm sorry, no. Fuel lines first, all right? Just because of the conditions there were, I think that failed first, and then the magneto just failed, and that was it. That pushed it over the edge for the owner. And then it sat long enough, and ethanol tends to decay the fuel lines and the primer bulb. So unless you can use ethanol-free gas, that'd be, ethanol-free gas with a mixture of like oil for that. If you're going to do it yourself, we can just buy the 50-to-1 like I did. Either way, it was a lot of fun to do. Hope that you enjoyed it. That's what I figured out. That's what I think happened to it. These trimmers, these Homelite trimmers, if you can't find the exact part, the chances are a lot of the other parts will actually work because they don't really deviate too much on the actual motor and magnito and throttle cable, or the throttle handle assembly, or the yeah, anyway, you get the point. They keep things fairly similar. They might just tweak a little bit of the body and other things like that, but I'm not really sure. But I can tell you from what I noticed so far, they're fairly similar. Hey, listen, hope you like this epic restoration movie, and hope that it can be something you can use. Some things I learned in this I think is useful. How to check a magneto for spark, how to check a spark plug with a multimeter, how to do a ZAMA carburetor, very different from a Tecumseh carburetor. That was really fun to do, and it was ridiculously cheap, so I don't know why anybody would buy a new ZAMA carburetor when you could just rebuild it yourself. Also, the just the trying to have enough finesse to start the motor with a drill is pretty challenging. I couldn't do it. So anyway, also brittle plastics stuff breaks all the time, so you got to be careful with it. Very important thing I know that I'll never make again. Well, I probably will try to minimize it. Really should try to find as much information about the carburetor architecture before I pull it apart, because that spring, losing that spring was like, I didn't even know it was in there, and it was gone. So it was annoying. And I purchased the world's most expensive little tiniest spring. I was pretty upset about that. But anyway, hey, listen, this is for sale. If you want it, contact me. All right? I don't ship. It's cash only, and it's in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, so it's a pickup only. And this is for sale. All right? You saw what happened in there. It's a full-on restoration. It works better than you, and you get to, like, say you got it from Motion Design Studio. All right? Thanks again. Hey, listen, don't forget to subscribe below if you are available to subscribe, which I know you are because you're watching this video, and hit that bell, too, so that way you can get all the notifications. Comment if you saw anything that I could have done better, that you realize, like, oh, yeah, that should have been done this way, all right? Great. I want to learn. Share it with other people. Just keep it cordial. I'll respond if you do. Other than that, like it, subscribe it also, and share, okay, with all your community. And if you're feeling generous, go ahead and send me something. I have an Amazon wish list, or you can just send me a tool that you think I know that I could use that can help my life, help me help people, okay? All right, thanks a lot. Again, it was great. Sorry for being so long-winded, but I was really excited about sharing what I learned. Thanks.